What's up, guys? My name is Claire. This is Clare Minded, and I'm so stoked to have you back here. Today, we are diving into Vata Pitta diet. This is a dual dosha diet plan for a Vata Pitta combination. These food series are so much fun, and I love helping you guys out to really tune in to your unique mind-body type and help you to find the right foods that are best for you. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to my channel, like the videos, send me some love because I'm totally here for you guys. Today we are jumping into the Vata Pitta food program diet plan for a dual doshic VP combination. So Vata Pitta, this is a delicious combination. And how I'm going to break this down is first I'm going to explain each of these doshas in their unique form. And then I'm going to explain how they come together, the like elements and the like qualities, and then the opposite elements and the opposite qualities that we'll need to call in. I'll briefly go over the Ayurvedic 6 tastes and which taste will be the most pacifying for a Vata Pitta combination. And then I will get into specific foods that you can start consuming on a Vata Pitta diet plan. Starting with the Vata dosha. Vata dosha on its own, it's made up of air and ether. Those are its elements. So innately, Vata is cold, it's light, it's dry, it's flowing, it's mobile. Pitta, on the other hand, is made up of fire and water. So Pitta is very hot, it's sharp, it's flowing, and it's also dry. Anything with fire really dries it up. So when you have Vata Pitta together, they have the elements of air, ether, fire, and water. So when you're thinking about bringing balance to any dosha constitution, you're looking to bring in the opposing elements and the opposing qualities. When you bring Vata and Pitta together, you have the combined elements of air, ether, fire, and water. And anytime fire is combined with anything, fire takes dominance. So fire with anything is going to be making it hot. So even though Vata on its own is very cold, it's a very cold dosha, anything where you have that fire added to it is going to be hot. So a Vata Pitta combination is going to be very hot. It's going to be very dry because Vata and Pitta are both very dry, and it's going to be very light and flowing. So as we think about what type of foods, we really want to bring it back to the elements and the qualities. And the only element that is missing from a Vata Pitta combination is the earth element. So the earth element, it's heavy, it's stable, it's static, it's clear. It is just really grounded and rooted, and that's going to bring all those flowing light qualities that a Vata Pitta has and ground them into the earth. It's very elemental when you think back to how simple it can be, and it'll help us as we move into what exact foods we want to be eating. We can come back to these elements and the qualities, what is heavy, what is earthy, what is dense, what is grounding. Next to understanding what foods are going to be best for a Vata Pitta combination, we have to look at the Ayurvedic 6 tastes. And the 6 Ayurvedic tastes are sweet, sour, salty, bitter, pungent, and astringent. And for a Vata on its own, the most pacifying tastes are the sweet, sour, and salty. Pitta's most pacifying tastes are the sweet, bitter, and astringent. So the only taste that they have in common is the sweet taste. And oddly enough, the sweet taste is made up of the earth and water element. And these are both nourishing for a Vata Pitta combination because the earth is going to ground both Vata and Pitta, and the water is going to help cool off that intense heat that Pitta is bringing to a Vata Pitta combination. Now, the sweet taste isn't the only taste a Vata Pitta dual dosha can eat, right? So 2 of the other tastes that you can incorporate in smaller amounts, in moderation would be the sour and the astringent taste. And that's because when we break down these tastes and we pull the layers back to their elemental foundation, the sour taste is made up of earth and fire. So it has that earth element that is missing from a Vata Pitta combination. And then the astringent taste is made up of earth and air. So again, it has that earth element that is going to ground a Vata Pitta combination. And of course, astringent contains air and sour contains fire. So this wouldn't be the most balancing taste for a VP combination, but you can have them in moderation. Of course, you're not going to be eating the same food every single day at every single meal, unless you're on a mono diet. But these tastes are going to be okay to consume in moderation, especially when you add digestive spices that are going to complement it through the digestive tract. The taste you would want to avoid on a Vata Pitta combination would be the salty taste, the bitter taste, and especially the pungent taste. The pungent taste is made up of fire and air, so this would be the least balancing taste for a Vata Pitta combination, because it has two elements that are already in the constitution, so that's going to be even more aggravating. Like increases like. Okay, let's jump into specific foods that you can start to incorporate into your diet right now as a Vata Pitta combination, or if you're dealing with a Vata Pitta imbalance in somewhere in your system. Quick note, this list is not comprehensive, meaning it is not every single food that you can be consuming, but this is a great starter list to help get you going if you're looking for some guidance on your food program for a Vata Pitta combination. We're going to start with grains, and grains are best eaten when they are cooked because this is easier for digestion. So the best grains for a Vata Pitta combination are cooked oats, soaked preferably, wheat, white basmati rice, smaller amounts, amaranth, barley, millet, quinoa, brown rice, rye. Grains you would want to avoid: buckwheat, corn flour products, or dry oats. Those are way drier and will be aggravating for a Vata Pitta. Next is dairy, and dairy I always recommend consuming in moderation because it can be aggravating and inflammatory, but it can also be super tonifying, which is good and grounding for a Vata Pitta combination. If possible, always choose organic and raw. Buy this from a local farmer's market is most ideal. Obviously, I know we live in a modern world. Do the best you can, trust your heart and trust your gut. The best dairy products for a Vata Pitta would be butter, raw butter preferably, cottage cheese, cream cheese, ghee, whole milk, and paneer cheese. Smaller amounts: buttermilk, hard, non-salted cheeses, kefir, sour cream, or yogurt. You want to avoid ice cream or frozen yogurt. Sweeteners. Any type of sweetener consumed in excess will be aggravating. Consume these in moderation, of course, but sweeteners are very good and grounding and nourishing for a VP combination. The best sweeteners would be honey, fresh honey preferably, maple sugar, maple syrup, and rice syrup. Smaller amounts: date sugar, jaggery, molasses, grape sugar. You would definitely want to avoid white table sugar. Oils. Oils are very hydrating and good for a VP combination because they offset that excess dryness that a Vata Pitta has. They have the air and that fire, so that makes a Vata Pitta combination very dry. So having oil in your system, whether it's external oleation and internal oleation, this will help moisten your body and create more suppleness and increase that earth and water element, which will cool off that Pitta dosha and ground that Vata Pitta dosha. The best oils: avocado, coconut, ghee, olive oil, sunflower. Smaller amounts: almond, castor, flaxseed, sesame, soy. Avoid canola, lard, margarine, mustard, peanut, or safflower oil. Fruits. Delicious! I love fruits. Who doesn't love fruits? So fruit, it's delicious. Vata Pitta loves fruit too, and they want to focus on the sweet, super ripe fruits because it has that sweet taste, so it's going to help ground and hydrate the body. But because fruit, it tends to be very light, you'll want to consume it more in moderation on a Vata Pitta diet plan. However, the best fruits to consume: apricots, avocados, bananas, blackberries, blueberries, cantaloupe, coconut, dates, figs, grapes, lemons, limes, mangoes, oranges, papaya, peaches, pears, persimmons, plums, prunes, raspberries, and strawberries. Smaller amounts: apples, cherries, cranberries, grapefruit, watermelon. You would want to avoid dry fruit, jujubes that are dry, olives, and any sour fruits. Vegetables. The best vegetables on a Vata Pitta combination: artichokes, avocado, bean sprouts, cauliflower, cilantro, Jerusalem artichokes, leeks, okra, onion, potato, pumpkin, seaweed, squash, acorn, winter, zucchini, literally all the squash, sunflower sprouts, and tomatoes that are very sweet. We want sweet tomatoes. Smaller amount vegetables: asparagus, beets, alfalfa sprouts, bell pepper, bitter melon, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, carrots, celery, cucumber, eggplant, kale, raw lettuce, and green beans. Mushrooms, mustard greens, parsley, peas, spinach, tomatoes that are sour. Avoid cabbage, chili, hot pepper, radishes, raw onion, or tomato paste or tomato sauce. Nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds are very good for a Vata Pitta combination. They're heavy, they're earthy, they're dense, they're sweet. So they're good to balance Vata Pitta. However, to boost and aid digestion to the maximum benefit that you could get, I would highly recommend lightly toasting, say, cashews on the stove for 30 seconds, maybe a minute, with some cumin powder. And the cumin powder is going to help the body digest and also in the absorption. And because cashews contain heavy oils and fats, having the cumin there to help digest that heaviness is going to move it through the system a lot more efficiently. So the best nuts and seeds would be coconut, pine nuts, and sunflower seeds. You can definitely have, but maybe in slightly smaller amounts, almonds, Brazil nuts, cashews, lotus seeds, macadamians, pecans, pistachios, and pumpkin seeds. Avoid peanuts. From a traditional standpoint, Ayurveda definitely was more so on the vegetarian side of a lifestyle. That's more in line with their spiritual yogic type of traditions. So meat is really only saved for extremely weak patients. However, on a Vata Pitta combination, if you did want to consume meat, if you're feeling very weak and you want to feel an extra sense of strength, I would recommend consuming in a broth form, so maybe a bone broth, or in a more soupy type mixture. Best meats for a Vata Pitta would be chicken meat, egg, freshwater fish, turkey, smaller amounts, beef, duck, lamb, seafood, pork, venison. Legumes. Legumes are delicious, but always important that you soak your legumes overnight to really help with digestion, as well as adding digestive spices to really increase digestion. And if you're experiencing any severe gas, constipation, or bloating, I would recommend not consuming any of the moderate legumes that I list or the avoided ones, of course. The best legumes for a Vata Pitta would be mung bean or tofu. Those are the easiest to digest. Some things you can have in a smaller amount would be chickpeas, kidney beans, black lentils, navy beans, pinto beans, soybeans, split peas. Avoid fava beans. Spices make up the world of life. Spices are the best, and they are going to be extremely nourishing for all doshas, but depending on which constitution you are, you can have specific spices that will be best for your constitution. So for a Vata Pitta combination, we want really more mildly warm spices because Pitta brings in a lot of heat, so we do not want really hot spices. We want mild to neutral type spices that will still aid our digestion and increase our Agni, but not bring in too much heat where it's going to aggravate the Pitta dosha in this dual dosha combination. So the best spices for a VP combination is bay leaf, caraway, cardamom, catnip, chamomile, cilantro, coriander, cumin, dill, fennel, peppermint, rosemary, saffron, yum, spearmint, and turmeric. Smaller amounts would be anise, basil, cinnamon, fenugreek, fresh ginger, nutmeg, oregano, poppy seeds, sage, salt, thyme. Avoid black pepper, cayenne, cloves, raw garlic, dry ginger, horseradish, hot mustard. Those are going to be too hot and too pungent to a VP combination. Condiments. There are actually no condiments that are best recommended for a Vata Pitta combination. In smaller amounts, you can have carob or mayonnaise. You would want to avoid ketchup, chocolate, or vinegar. Last is beverages, and beverages are always best taken at room temperature. You never want to have ice cold drinks because anything ice cold is going to dampen your Agni. And if we don't have a strong Agni, we won't be able to properly digest our food. And if we can't properly digest our food, then that will manifest into other diseases or manifestations in our body and can, affect other organs and other tissues. So really the digestion tract is the root cause of almost any disease. So we really want to make sure our digestion and our Agni specifically is strong because that is going to be the root and our foundation in every other aspect of our life and well-being. The best beverages for a Vata Pitta combination: chamomile tea, licorice tea, mild spices, milk, mint tea, and of course water. Smaller amounts, you can have diluted fruit juices, a diluted carrot juice, maybe some naturally flavored soda, nothing with added sugar, black or green tea. Avoid alcohol, coffee, soft drinks, pop, super spicy tea, tomato juice, or vegetable juices. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me through this video. This was all about a Vata Pitta dual doshic diet plan and a food program for the VP combination. So whether you have a Vata Pitta constitution or you're dealing with a Vata Pitta imbalance, these are great foods to help get you started and get you right on the right track to get your health back. Of course, this list is not extensive. These are not every single food in the world that you can be consuming. However, this is a great start. So if you're dealing with a Vata Pitta combination, start with these foods, make up some recipes. I got a few listed. Let me know if you have any questions. I would love to help you guys further. Comment in the links below. Send me some love. Subscribe to my page if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm truly honored to share this space. So thank you, and I will see you again.